My name is Julie Merriman. I'm a visual artist. I'm based in Dublin, and my practice is mostly based in drawing and currently an obsolete print method called mimeograph. So I never just put a piece of paper on the wall and start to draw. I couldn't do that. So first of all, I have to have something that I'm researching. So there has to be something that I'm looking at, and I'll do a lot of research, and then I'll have a piece of factual information. And once I have something factual, I can start. The marks I will make and the way I'll use that information and my materials, there's always something in a drawing. When a drawing is finished, there'll be something in it, so there'll be some leftover piece, either a piece of material or a piece of information, and I'll want to start another drawing. So it's always something that's left behind. You make one drawing, you straight away in your mind, you're thinking about, well, there's something in that, I'm going to take that and I want to work it further and see what happens if I do this, if I do that. So it's really always a case of, well, what will happen if I do this? What will happen if I use this material in this way, or if I put these two things together, or if I, that's always what drives me to create. It's just always curiosity about that, the process. There's really two things that I have looked at in all of my career as an artist, and that's architecture and engineering. They're my two kind of cornerstones, if you like. And so I became interested in architects' drawings, and I started looking at them. And then obviously architects work with engineers, and I was looking at their drawings. And then I realized that, okay, so I'm an artist and I love to draw. But there are all these other professions that use drawing as well in their lives, their working lives. So you've got architects, and then you've got engineers, and then just within the engineering category, you've got naval engineering, you've got civil engineering, you've got aeronautical engineering, mechanical, electrical. So there's this huge range of information, and they have, architects and engineers, they have this visual language. They use codes, they use symbols, and it's universally understood. And I think that is really interesting. I mean, the way they'll make a mark, if they make a dashed line, that means something. If they make a long, thin line, that means something. If it's a thick line, that means something else. So I was looking at these languages, and I suppose I borrowed them and imported them into my own work. I suppose I made my own language then, use my own drawing language to turn it into another form of communication. I'm not just recreating architects' plans or engineers' plans. That's not at all what I'm doing. I mean, architects and engineers might look at my drawing and feel that they know what's going on, but when they get up close, it's not decipherable as such. So it's like I borrow their language to make my own interpretations. This particular drawing was made using this process is with typewriter film. And so typewriter film sometimes comes in a roll, but sometimes it comes in a canister. So I had some in my studio, so I decided I would just take it out of the canister and pin it onto the wall. So basically I take it out of the canister, cut it into the same size as the paper. So for instance, this paper here, and then with pins, pin it on either side, strips going across like that on either side of the paper. And then I put another piece of paper over that, and then I'd make the drawing. Now with the typewriter ribbons, because they're pinned across, the slippages, and they're pinned, so sometimes the pin will drop off. So, but I just keep drawing on the other piece, the piece of paper on top of them, until I'll just put information on top of it. Again, all this factual information that I will have researched, mostly if it's a historical project, I'll be in an archive or a library. If it's a more contemporary project, I might talk to people, meet communities, I'll do interviews, I'll do site visits. But so I'll have all that information, I'll put it onto this front piece of paper. Then I'll take everything off, take the paper off and take the ribbons off. And I'll have all of this information, lines on the page. And it's like this puzzle, all these lines, and I have to figure it out. Like, I'm the conductor. I have to move these lines around to make them the way I want them. So it's a really nice process. It's very time consuming. And I love that about it. I love that it's me in the studio. This drawing is part of an ongoing series of drawings, and it's still ongoing. It's called Housing Area. And I began this series in 2013 when I was working on a commission with Dublin City Council as part of interaction with the city. And I was researching in Dublin City archives, and I was looking at their amazing collection of drawings related to Dublin City. And I was at the time looking at how engineers and architects in Dublin City Council used drawing. I was looking at specific sites, mostly sites that were empty or that were being considered for housing. And then I extended the project out, and I started looking at just empty buildings, I suppose, and it's not a question, could this be housing area? It's more of a statement, housing area. It is based on a building that is nowhere near that high. I just started to build with the information I had. So the work I make is never going to mirror the actual building. It's because I'm reinventing. You know, you make the work. I can't add anything more to it, but an audience will always add to a work. You know, everyone who comes in front of a piece of work, they've got all their own ideas and their way of looking at things, and it's a whole new life.